friends. Welcome back to the Field and Garden Podcast. It's your friend, Lisa Mason Ziegler, and I'm really glad you've decided to join me here. So today I am really excited to share a conversation with you. I did an interview with Becca Muller of LocaFlora in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And I have to tell you, it is a discussion that I had goosebumps and felt close to, a little bit of emotion during our conversations because Becca is an amazing storyteller. She is basically a flower shop, a new flower shop that only sources 100% local flowers, plants, and gifts for her little shop in a little town. She started it during the pandemic. And friends, she's talking about her experience with Ellen Frost's course, is how I came to know her and how we came to have this conversation. But I consider Becca a friend now, and I can't wait to someday visit her shop. I think you're going to enjoy this conversation as much as I did. And so let's take a listen. Hey friends, it is Lisa Mason Ziegler coming to you this evening. Happy Halloween, everybody. I'm so glad to be here this evening, and I am super excited to be chatting tonight with Becca Muller of LocaColor. Let's ask Becca to join me here. And I just had some late trick-or-treaters, so I'm a couple minutes later here than I wanted to be. So I am going to ask her to join me here on screen, and I'm just thrilled to her business and her business model and what she's doing because, y'all, she has such a great story. Hi, Becca.
Hey, how are you?
I am great, thank you. I'm so sorry I was just a second or two late getting on. It kind of flusters you. I had trick-or-treaters at the last second show up at the door, so I left my man in control of the trick-or-treating candy, and we'll see how that goes. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So friends, so first off, if we've never met before, my name is Lisa Mason Ziegler, and I'm with the Gardener's Workshop. And, we're just all about the local flower story from beginning to end. And I became aware of Becca and what she's doing in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, because she was a student in in Ellen Frost's course. And Becca, I have to tell you, I watched your video this afternoon and read the article that you also sent us. And I'm just so excited and so impressed to talk to you and to share what you are doing up there in Gettysburg. So, out of the gate, what I wanted to first say is, Becca, I'd like for you to just share introduce yourself and just tell us what you're doing up there in Gettysburg.
Yeah, sure. So I am Rebecca Muller. I own LocaFlora. We are your friendly neighborhood flower shop in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. We source 100% local flowers from within 100 miles of Gettysburg. And it's somewhat understandable that you could mix up our name with Ellen's business name.
I love your name. I just love it.
I swear that I didn't know her name before I found that business name or found it. So yeah, we source 100% local flowers. We arrange them for special occasions, weddings, and everything in between. We also have locally made goods, so handmade ceramics and art and cards, a little bit of natural beauty. And we source plants from a nearby greenhouse. So I would say that our two things are kind of beauty and fragrance that are all locally made or grown.
I don't know if you caught, I did a podcast or a talk with Ellen. I'm sorry, y'all, my golden retriever is at my feet. If you couldn't tell, that's why the camera's moving. I had a chat with Ellen last week, and one of the things that I said, and I feel like I'm getting that same feeling talking to you, literally, and I don't mean this,
Okay.
is that it feels to me like y'all's the life that you all are creating in the business that you guys are creating is just what people dream a flower shop is really about. And literally, it's like a Hallmark movie. Do you know what I mean? It's like how
Yeah,
they
yeah,
perceive the dreamy side of things and leave out the rest of, I mean, and by all means, I know how incredible hard work it is. But
yeah.
I just can't tell you how when I was watching your video, which I don't know, is that video for your cold storage fundraiser? Is that on your IG feed somewhere that people can go and watch it if they want to, just to see
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, and
Awesome.
I'll post it to our story after we finish this conversation too, just in case
Awesome.
people want to see it. That was a fundraiser. I partnered with a videographer who's from Gettysburg. And really, I like to say that it was amazing storytelling or capturing our story by Tom, but um, it raised as much as we needed for our cold storage, and it was
That
wonderful.
that is so awesome. But when I listen to you talk and tell your story like you just said, I just thought, what a romantic
Yeah.
for a bride to select. You know how people are about the flowers for their wedding, and it's like, how could someone choose the other side of the fence when this is a choice for them? Because I thought, how wonderful is this whole business model, right? So I want to talk about all that, and something that you said, I think it was actually in the article, that I think is just such a great tagline that we should all use, is local flowers for local people, talking about where your little shop is located. So before we do that, I want you to first tell us about how you came to have this relationship with local flowers, and then after going to college, how it kind of all worked and brought you to where you are right now.
Sure. So one of my first jobs in high school, honestly, was, or maybe even right before that, was on a small pick your own farm. And they had specialized for years in berries, conventionally grown berries. And their daughter, Catherine, wanted to start a cut flower patch. And it was pretty much the year that I started helping them. I believe my first job helping them was picking up rocks uh, in the berry patch. And I think I was just stunned by how much it meant to people to know their farmer. So when they would come to Yellow Hill Farm in Big Lairville, Pennsylvania, to get berries and flowers, when they met Natalie, who's the owner of that farm, it really was so much more meaningful to them than any grocery store flowers could ever be. They connected with her. They would come back because of her. They would always tell me, as someone who helped, and I stayed with that farm for many years, that they came to the farm because they wanted to see Natalie, not necessarily because they wanted to get flowers, although they definitely wanted to get the flowers. So that's how I got introduced to the kind of back end of flower business. And then I went to school for biochemistry at a small science-tech university in Harrisburg. And a detail that I sometimes share, and I don't think it was in that article, was that there was a small flower cart that I would visit anytime I could in Harrisburg. It's Mike and Harry's Flowers. And you could give him $5 or you could give him $50 and he would make you a bouquet. And I would parade those flowers all over campus if I could. It was just the best feeling. And so eventually, after getting into and out of the chemistry world, I realized how life-giving flowers are to me and how much that's really connected to the people who are growing them. I tried floristry a little bit with a wholesaler, and I just found that taking flowers out of a box and not knowing anything about where they came from or who grew them was not something I enjoyed. As much as I enjoy the artistry of flowers, I care the most about the people who grow them and how that connects to floristry. So that's how I got into it.
You know, I mean, I think you've really nailed it, that what we have in our business, meaning flowers, local sourcing, whether it mean me being a flower grower, you being a flower designer, shop owner, peddler of flowers, is people are just seeking relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that connection, and it's like we have so many pathways to be able to do that with people, where some people in some businesses have to really work super hard to find a way, right? To connect with their
Yeah.
customers. And one of the things that, I mean, you took Ellen's course, and when I was reviewing the course, I never really thought about that part of our business until she really highlighted that
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's community building, right? I mean, don't you feel like that is just
Yes.
such, you don't need 10,000 customers. You need 1,000 or 100 or 50 of your customers, people
Yes.
that are connected and love us, right? Um, so, and then we also have such a great story. I loved in that video, and that was a great job. The
Yeah. Oh,
videographer, I
he's
mean,
amazing.
kudos
Hire
to
Tom
him. I mean,
Pottinger.
my goodness, will he come to Virginia? So when you were telling the story about why you needed cold storage, I mean, that was a simple prop tool that we use, but you made it so interesting. And I mean, you really did. So you're a great storyteller. He's a great videographer. But I can only imagine the way that you're connecting with your people. So one of the other things that you said that I was really touched by was how you want to honor the flowers for the people that grow them. I've never had any, that's another whole new aim at me, you know, for me. And so tell me about that. It's like, what, I just really feel like you really voiced a new connection with the farmer that grows.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. That is, so I always tell people that LocaFlora's mission is to revive the love of local flowers in Gettysburg and in our surrounding region. And I say that because I think that there is something so special about the personal connection of a farmer to whoever is going to enjoy those flowers. Flowers are a joy crop. They're not a necessity. You can live without flowers. Some people can,
That's right.
but maybe not us. But um, if a farmer is growing flowers, there's a business side to that, but there is also, I think, in most farmers that I know, um, a devotion to caring for other people and recognizing that those flowers are going to spread comfort and joy and fill all the little moments of people's lives. They're not really just for um, like for sustenance or anything like that. So I've always resonated with that. I appreciate the everyday moments, and I think that flower farmers really get that. Um,
I totally agree with you. And even if we don't realize that we get that, you know what I mean? It's that natural. I feel like that I feel like everybody is drawn and has a great love of the whole process of starting seeds. It's like witnessing that miracle of what taking a seed and growing something. That's why people start way too many seeds all the time. I mean,
it's
for,
true.
for, for decades.
Yeah.
And we just have it. And so I think you really voice that really, really well. And you know me, I mean, I'm just always such a business person. You know, one of the things, the struggles that I find that particularly new business people face is, you know, marketing their product. They don't want to be salesy. Well, there's nothing further from what our story is really all about as flower peddlers, especially when you use local flowers. There's so many stories, right? I mean, you know, one of the things that I love that you said too is valuing both people, meaning the farmers, and the planet ahead of dollars. And, although I feel like there are cheap flowers out there, but I think when people don't know the story behind the flowers, because there really is no story behind shipped in flowers. I mean, not a good story, not a story that anybody's telling, because who wants to walk down the aisle dreaming about, that versus
Yeah.
that thought of where those flowers came from when they were locally grown, locally. I mean, the dollar stayed in you. I mean, it's deep. I just see such depth of opportunity for marketing, but for social media, we have endless things to talk and share and tell about, right? I mean,
Yeah.
reading your article, which I will, I'm sure we'll make this into a podcast. I will put it in the show notes, or I'll put a link to it for the PDF of, I think that was that in your local newspaper or a magazine, the Berg, I think it was.
Yes, so the Berg is a Harrisburg local publication. My friend Shannon is from Gettysburg, and she chose to write that article on me for their Small Business Month.
All right, so I want to get back to your business. So, and I also, before they sent me the links to what you shared with us today, I watched a little short video about, or maybe, I'm not sure if it was a video or images of you finding your store shop, your
Oh, yeah.
storefront,
Yeah.
and how, you came to how that all happened. So tell us about, when did your business start and what your experience has been and how's it going? And I just love, and I'd like to know too, how many people are in your town? Do you know what your population is?
I think I do. So Gettysburg is, I believe, around 10,000 in the borough. I'm
Small.
making that number slightly up because I think it's true. So I'll look up that census data later. But uh, I would actually say I'm in the unique position of I'm pretty Gettysburg grown. I have been here for about 14 years and the formative years of my life, I would say. And so I knew who my audience was very well. And I also know that my own age group is particularly looking to bring Gettysburg to life a bit more. We have, I think, what I've said lately is just we believe Gettysburg can have nice things too, and the people who live here, and that we're not just a historical town. There's so much connected to that. My business started actually about 3 to 4 years ago, actually, and it was just a wedding and event florist. And like I kind of mentioned earlier, I tried the wholesale version of it. I think I looked at, maybe Googled even how to be a florist or something weird like that, and discovered, oh, you're supposed to buy from a wholesaler. All I'd ever known was going to a U-pick farm and getting a whole bunch of flowers for a wedding. So I spent a few years taking on just a handful of weddings here and there, trying out different things and trying to do sustainable floristry as much as possible. And what I found was that it was really, really difficult. Um, Being sustainable and also sourcing globally is nearly impossible, I think, because truly getting to know who your farmer is, how they treat their workers, how they use the land is really difficult when you're in a long-term or long distance relationship. So that's when I decided during the pandemic, actually, that I really wasn't interested in just doing weddings. I wanted to have a storefront. I wanted to connect directly with people and get to know them. I believe that flowers are much more impactful, honestly, at times like birthdays and anniversaries and memorials. I think weddings are beautiful, and I love doing flowers for them, but I really think that people care and get a lot out of those other times. So I found a reasonably priced space, and I just decided, you know what, I can do this.
I'm so
I can
proud
help
of you.
you.
Oh, go
Thank
girl.
you. Yeah, thank you. So I had been around startups a bit. I had helped with a local arts organization called Waldo's and Company and really forming and growing them. And so I think I had just enough confidence to be dangerous. And I opened this storefront in November of 2020. So we are celebrating our first birthday on Small Business Saturday.
That is so awesome. I mean, what an entrepreneurial spirit to open a new business in the midst of a pandemic
Yeah.
and to have you know, the muster to do that. And I think that your husband is supportive since he helped build your cooler. And that makes all the difference in the world, right? I mean, to have
Yeah.
somebody at your side and your back to know
Yeah.
that you've got them to help back you up, right?
Yeah. Yeah, very much so.
So you opened your business, and I totally, you know, perhaps what built my cut flower growing business into the craziness that it was for so many years when we were in high production is I seeked out florists just like you, people that used flowers every single day of their business, not just events. I never really sold to event or strictly event designers, because my motto was, my goodness, I don't just need you when you have an event planned. I need you every single week, week after week. And, you know, that just, I was too afraid to seek out designers basically because we had so many flowers. And I totally agree with you. The florist, I sold to two or three higher volume florists that were big customers of ours. And that was their mindset also. They wanted to meet people when they were grieving, to help them when they had a celebration, when they had screwed up and needed to send I'm sorry flowers, or for people to walk in. And you know, I just love that one of them had a flower bar long before people started doing real flower bars, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's that appreciation and realizing what flowers are really really about, right? So I'm really interested in hearing, so what led you to Ellen's course?
Sure. So, as you may know, Gettysburg is only about an hour and a half from Baltimore. So I actually learned about Ellen through various farmers, which makes sense, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
I there's a farmer here in Gettysburg area who used to live in Baltimore and grow in Baltimore, Tara from Weaving Roots Farm. And she knows Maya of Hill and Homestead
Oh,
very
yeah.
well, um, and has worked a lot with her and Elisa from Two Boots Farm. And so, of course, they hyped up Ellen to me. And when I decided, especially that I wanted to open a brick and mortar, I think I was kind of craving the mentorship or even just the camaraderie of another brick and mortar flower shop that sourced exclusively local. As you know, that's pretty abnormal. I think there are a lot of people who source locally on occasion or in a few instances through the year when they can and seasonally, which is totally understandable. But there are very few brick and mortar flower shops that dedicate every day to purchasing local. So I actually gave Ellen a phone call, or she gave me a phone call, and we spent just like an hour chatting. And I think that the most helpful, she's a wealth of knowledge, but one of the most helpful things to me in that moment was just knowing there's somebody out there who did this and has been doing it for over a decade, and they're doing all right.
That's, I mean, isn't it that networking that gives us that confidence? Again, it's like having that spouse that backs you up, knowing that you can turn to somebody else and say, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. And so that led you to take Ellen's course. And so how do you feel like, just so, I mean, because her registration, you know, is opening up in a week, and we get
yeah,
just lots of contact from people saying, should I take this class, or how is it going to
yeah.
help me? So I'd like to know how you feel like it helped you, and how it is still helping you, perhaps, if you revisit it, as so many of us do, for any of our online courses.
Sure. So for me, I think that Ellen's course, I'll just echo again, was really confidence building. Um, I personally had done some research in local flowers and the history of it, but Ellen really added depth to that and meaning. I think that she structured the course so well to introduce you to the landscape of what it means to be a local florist and how that's part of a bigger story. I'm very big on story. And so that was really helpful to me. And it really just, I mean, there's so many components to the course, but building relationships with farmers, um, I just needed someone to tell me it's okay to have this kind of conversation, or here's how you get started. Because I might have been thinking about doing it that way, or I might have been thinking of a different way, but even just having someone say, this is how you do it, was really helpful. And Alan's amazing.
And I think you're probably the first person that I've ever spoken to, other than Ellen, that does what Ellen and you are doing,
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
I sold to 23 florists for over 20 years,
Yeah.
and most of them are what you kind of previously described, where they were hit and miss. They did not depend on me. Fortunately, 5 of them ordered from us they ordered from us first, and then filled in what I couldn't provide from the
Right.
wholesaler. I mean, a dream come true, right?
Yeah.
And it is first off, it's such a unique model, but it's not really unique at all, is it? We're just bringing back
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
used to be.
We're the
I mean,
throwback.
how romantic, and how, I mean, warm and fuzzy is that? It's like Ellen and I were talking about. I said, yeah, it's just like, how back our grandmothers, or maybe our great grandmothers, used to can and grow a vegetable garden. And then my parents' generation felt like it was moving up the ladder to be able to buy them in cans from the grocery store. That was like a
Yep.
step up in society. And here we are back again. Who has a pantry full of canned stuff? Me. I mean, it's like we're now coming back around that, wow, the way they used to do it was really the best way, for a
Yeah.
lot of reasons we never even realized. Because I think that's part of what people miss out, is when you deal with a local business that also deals with local businesses, whether it's 100% or
Yep.
just does the best they can. That is money that impacts your community, dollars that stay
Yep.
in your community, right?
Absolutely.
So I mean, obviously you're year round, right?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, 365 days of the year. Well, when we're not closed, we're sourcing local flowers. Even if it's some dried flowers, or even if it's just a few fresh flowers mixed in with lots of greens during those winter months, it is always local.
Um, so I guess the last question I want to ask you about the course is, so would you recommend the course to somebody that is either a florist, a farmer florist, a designer, and have that it would be beneficial to building their business?
Yes, absolutely. So, what I would say is this course is great for farmers or farmer florists who want to learn more about connecting and what it means to sell to a local florist, or just how to build those kinds of relationships and wholesale programs. But this course is excellent for florists who want to really have the push and the extra confidence to really source local, because we all understand that there's a significant amount more logistics to work through.
Yeah.
Um, but if there's anything that the last couple of years has taught a lot of the florists, at least in our area, it's that local always comes through. It is always better than wholesale. But
Yes.
it's daunting and the logistics of it are hard, and it sometimes just juggles a lot of different moving parts. So having taken this course and seen the way that Ellen lays out, from the history of it to the working through partnerships to the numbers, she lays it out so well to just give you that first kind of out of the box feeling like this is how you do it. You can move on from there. You can build however. You don't have to do exclusively local. You
Right.
don't have to do it any one way. But here's the best way that I have found to form partnerships and really make this an asset for your business. It doesn't have to be something that is either holding you back or causing you additional stress. It can actually be an incredible asset to you.
Isn't that so true? I mean, that's one of the things that Ellen and I have talked about so much. Some people carry local like it's not beneficial, but in fact, it's like one of the biggest assets that we have. And don't you think, I was thinking this while you were just talking, how many florists or designers attempt to go local, not knowing anything? They stick their toe in, they have a horrible experience, it just goes poorly. And then
Yeah,
they say, there's no way I'm doing local. I mean,
yeah,
isn't that, but that's, it's like we have to step back and realize, you don't just get in a car one day and start driving. You went to driver's ed, or you know what I mean? Your dad took you out and showed you how to
yeah.
drive or whatever. And I do feel like that is really given a bad rap to local, because I can say wholeheartedly, there are more flowers, better quality flowers, more gorgeous flowers, more fragrant
Mhm.
flowers, fresher, longer lasting, at competitive pricing available within your community of 100 miles. No question about that, which is what you and Ellen both work to do, right? Um, so I thank you so much, Rebecca. Is there anything else? So do you go by Becca or Rebecca or both?
Usually Becca. It's
Okay.
either one is fine.
Hey, Becca. So, and all the things that you listed about the course that helped you are all like the bullets for a marketing program: connecting,
Mhm.
relationships, storytelling.
Mhm.
It's like in my course, the first week's course is all about the business. I'm all about eating the ugly frog first. It's like, get the stuff out of the way that nobody wants to do, but you're so afraid after you've done that people are going to watch the first week and say, oh my gosh, this is horrible. When I watched Ellen's course that was about that history landscape in the beginning, I'm like, oh boy, I wonder if we're going to lose people about that. But then before you
No.
know it, you're getting closer and closer and listening. I mean, learning about American floristry and the history just gives a florist or a designer more confidence, more to talk
Mhm.
about, more knowledge, and how to become an expert, right?
Mhm.
So, Becca, tell people how they can connect with you. And I also want you to say again that you're going to add that video wherever you're going to add it, because I would love for them to watch that. I think that is just such an ode to local, just such a great piece.
Thank you. Yeah, so you can connect with me through Instagram here, LocaFlora Design. You can find our website at locafloradesign.com. We're also on Facebook, and we're on DoorDash as well. So, any one of those ways, feel free to drop me a note and say hello. I'd love to know that you found us through this interview. I'm also happy to talk about my experience with the course or with
Oh, thank
purchasing
you.
the flowers. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah, and I will say that I believe that sourcing local is honestly a huge asset to flowers and floristry in general. I think that by purchasing local, we're really infusing more value into farmers everywhere. And so by choosing to know who your farmer is and know how much work they put into those flowers, we're really adding so much to even global flowers because there is a story behind those flowers. And while it's ugly, um, sourcing local allows you to understand how ugly it really is and what the difference could be. So yeah, I highly recommend the course, and I'll be happy to post the video that actually uses, I used Ellen's course. That first kind of section is really, really good stuff. It's full of meat, and even vegetable meats. uh, so it is really good, and I used that as a starting point when I did some research for that video. So yeah, I'll post it up after this.
That's awesome. So let me just tell everybody that's listening. So the scoop on Ellen's course is, first off, you can learn more about it over at thegardenersworkshop.com, which is my company. And I actually publish online courses for my peers. I'm a commercial cut flower farmer. And after lecturing for 20 years all over the country, I handpicked a hand group of people that just were awesome teachers, had great messages, and that's how Ellen and I connected so many years ago. So that's my role in these online courses. We host them, the courses, and help them build them. They do the create. It's like writing a book, y'all. Same thing. I'm the publisher. And so that's why you'll find Ellen's course over at thegardenersworkshop.com. And the name of the course is Florist School Online is the series. But the name of this course is Growing Your Business with Local Flower Sourcing with Ellen Frost. And the course only enrolls once a year for 5 days, and that is November 5th through 9th. So it starts next Friday the 5th and runs through the 9th. School does not start until January 3rd. It's a 6-week class. You do live Q&A coaching sessions with Ellen every week during school, as well as one follow-up 2 weeks later. There is an optional Facebook group where not only you connect with Ellen during school, but there's an alumni group where you can continue to have connection with not only your classmates, but with Ellen, your instructor. So when you're 6 months out or a year out and you've got a question all of a sudden now because you're facing new challenges, not only can you review the course because you have lifetime unlimited access, you can ask Ellen a question. And the course is $495. Sorry, I forgot to say that.
That's a steal. Like
Yeah,
a
I was going to say
steal.
a drop in the bucket, isn't it? I mean, our real goal with our online courses was to make it super affordable for people, particularly in the upswing of starting a business, to really make it affordable. And because we feel like we are all servant teachers. You know, we all have teacher hearts, and we want as many people as possible because we want more professional flower hustlers. We want more growers. We want more sellers. We want more designers. But what sets us all apart is we're professionals, meaning we set up our businesses. You know, we eat that ugly frog first and just get going. So please, and you can go over to Ellen's course page now and sign up to get on our wait list. And what all that means is that you'll get emails when the registration opens. We won't let you miss it, as well as you'll get some great resources. You'll get a recording, I'm sure, of this. I'm sure that our team is, as we're speaking, recording and processing this as soon as I hit end. And so there's some great information, and there's just no better group of people to be with than those people that have your same focus and drive, whether you're a grower, a designer, or a flower shop owner. And I'm telling you, Becca, I may just have to come to Gettysburg to see your little
Please
shop.
do. I would
I
love
mean, it
that.
sounds like such a sweet little town. And I mean, your whole story has just intrigued me. And I mean, what a road trip to go see Ellen in Baltimore and
Oh
then
yeah.
trek up to you. And that would just be so very, very awesome. So are there any closing words you want to share with anybody?
Take the course. It's worth it. I have invested in multiple flower kind of courses, and by far this one was the one that helped me the most. I'm
Awesome.
biased because I, of course, source locally and chose that really early on that that was important to me. But this course is perfectly designed. And I really respect Ellen. I respect the experience that she has, and I think that you will too.
Thank you so much, Becca. So we will put Becca's, we'll make this into a podcast. We'll put all of her connections there. And thank you so much for taking time here on Halloween night to join with me here and share your experience with Ellen Frost's course. And we're just we're just proud to be in this walk with you. So thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome. Good night, everybody. Ciao. Right? So I am going to put in the show notes down below the link to her social media, to her video, and how you can connect with her. And friends, this local flower sourcing thing is just continuing to fester, and that's exactly what our dream has been, and for all these years, is to bring back the local domestic market, right? And now is our opportunity. So I've also will put the links to Ellen's course, whether you're listening to this right before registration. If you are, go over to the page and check it out. Either way, get on the wait list. That way, we'll send you the resources that Ellen creates throughout the year for people to kind of get help, get a taste of her teaching, and we won't let you miss registration. So that'll all be down in the show notes. And as always, friends, check out thegardenersworkshop.com for all of our courses and lots of free resources. Until we meet again someday, friends, ciao.